Today we find out what happens if every NFL team had to start a new quarterback in every game. All 17 games for every NFL team will be split up between their quarterbacks as evenly as possible. So every week, I'll be going in manually and changing each depth chart for every single team to make sure a new quarterback is starting. Now this is being done on August 31st, 2023. In case you're watching this in the future and a team has signed a different quarterback, I'm using the depth charts right now from ESPN. So that's all I can go off of. Last addition we had to make was Nathan Peterman getting added back to the Bears. So they have 3 quarterbacks now. Real quick though, we have a super chat from Ball Scratcher 572. Says, hey CK, can you make a team filled with the biggest bust of all time? Thanks. That one, I try to stay away from subjective ones like that because I don't like getting flamed in the comments. So my fault, man. I'm gonna have to pass, but I appreciate the donations. For teams like the Bengals, who only have 2 quarterbacks currently, Burrow will start one game, Browning will start the other, and they'll keep alternating like that. For teams like the Eagles, Jalen Hurts will start a game, then Marcus Mariota will start game 2, and Tanner McKee will start game 3. They'll keep going in that order for the entire season. And then in the rare occasion, like the New Orleans Saints, where there are 4 quarterbacks they're keeping on a roster, Carr is going to start the first game, Jameis Winston will start the second game, Jake Haener will start the third game, and Taysom Hill, who's listed as their 4th quarterback on the depth chart, will start the 4th game, and they'll continue rotating like that for the entire season. We're going to continue the rotating quarterbacks in the playoffs as well. So let's just go ahead and simulate right now. I'll see you guys in the postseason. In the AFC, the Ravens end up making it. Bengals, Chiefs, Jets, Dolphins, Colts, and Bills all made it to the playoffs. Chargers, Titans, and Jags all go 9-8 and barely miss out. Only one team had a terrible season. That was the Texans. In the NFC, the Cowboys get the 1 seed. Falcons, Niners, Eagles, Lions, Buccaneers, and Seahawks make it. Minnesota barely misses out. They go 9-8. Cardinals end up 3-14, worst in the NFC. Gonna go team by team and show all the stats. Peterman had the most yards and the most touchdowns. Best passer rating went to Justin Fields, however. He also added 4 rushing touchdowns, most by any quarterback on Chicago. Joe Burrow had a way better ratio than Browning. Not surprised. 10 less INTs, also do the same amount of touchdowns. Kyle Allen led the Bills in terms of passing yards, but Josh Allen was perfect. 7 touchdowns, no picks. Best passer rating on Buffalo. In Denver, they threw the same amount of interceptions. Wilson doubled the amount of touchdowns, so he was cooking in Sean Payton's offense. Dorian Thompson-Robinson threw way too many INTs. I was gonna say he did a great job throwing a lot of yards, but my goodness, Watson did a way better job of taking care of the football. Trask, low-key, kept up with Baker. I mean, they both did pretty well. No wonder why they ended up making the playoffs. Good quarterback play. Meanwhile, the Cardinals didn't do so hot. Kyler was 2nd on the team in passing yards, 3rd in terms of touchdowns. Had the best pass rating though. Didn't run for the most rushing touchdowns though. That goes to Clayton Tune. The Chargers quarterbacks both did really well. Herbert, 17 touchdowns, only 3 picks, 119 pass rating. Nasty season from him. Stick did better than I expected. Mahomes killed it as usual. 18 touchdowns, only 5 picks, 116 passer rating. Gabbert was decent in the games where he started. Richardson actually had the most passing yards on the team and the best passer rating. Minshew did pretty well. He had the best ratio, 8 touchdowns, only 4 picks. Ellinger, not the best. Jacoby Brissett had 1 more touchdown and picks. Didn't take care of the football as well as Sam Howell. Cooper Rush had the most passing yards in Dallas. Prescott had the best ratio. Trey Lance, 9 touchdowns, 5 picks. All in all, they had really good quarterback play, man. All 3 of them killed it. Meanwhile, Tua threw the least amount of yards, but had by far the best ratio, 7 touchdowns, no picks. Mike White threw 10 INTs and 10 touchdowns. In Philadelphia, Hurts had the best ratio, 8 touchdowns, 4 picks, but only the 2nd best pass rating behind Marcus Mariota. McKee had the 2nd most passing yards, but Hurts did have the most rushing touchdowns for any quarterback. Desmond Ridder with a nasty season for ATL, 13 touchdowns, only 3 picks. Heineke, 1 touchdown, 7 picks. He had a horrendous season. Somehow had a better passer rating than Logan Woodside though. Sam Darnold with a nasty ratio, 15 touchdowns, 7 picks. Purdy did really well. Brandon Allen even did pretty decent. So San Fran got good quarterback play. Tyrod and Daniel Jones, similar in terms of yardage, but Danny Dimes, only 1 INT, 11 touchdowns. Tyrod threw 5 more picks than tutties. Trevor Lawrence killed it in Jacksonville, 13 more touchdowns than INT. INTs. Beathard was about average. Rodgers had a great season, 20 touchdowns, only 4 picks. Wilson, slightly above average. Jared Goff, 10 touchdowns, 5 picks. Decent quarterback play in Detroit. Same thing goes for the quarterback play in Green Bay. Love had less touchdowns than INTs. I was expecting better from him. Clifford actually had a better ratio. Andy Dalton and Bryce Young, pretty identical stats. Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi. Now, Madden doesn't let you only have one quarterback, so they had to bring back Bailey Zappi, and he actually did pretty decently in New England. Jimmy G, no interceptions for the Raiders. Can't say the same for Hoyer or Aiden O'Connell. Stafford with a nasty season, 12 touchdowns, only 4 picks, but 18 interceptions for Stetson Bennett. He struggled as a rookie in this experiment. Huntley with a nasty season, him and Lamar. 33 touchdowns, only 8 picks from the quarterback position, both in the hundreds in terms of pass rating. Lamar added 1 touchdown on the ground, almost 500 yards carrying. And New Orleans, who had 4 quarterbacks starting, actually all did really well. Great ratios from every single quarterback. 94 was the lowest pass rating on the team. 13 touchdowns, no picks for Geno Smith. Might be in MVP conversations. Drew Lock didn't do so hot though. Trubisky with a decent season. Low-key had a better one than Kenny Pickett. He had a higher pass rating. Pickett did throw for more yards per game. And that's because we can't really plan for the bye weeks. I was just changing the depth chart every single week no matter what. So I'm guessing Pickett landed on the bye week and Trubisky got to play an extra game. Meanwhile in Houston, CJ Stroud had a nice season. 6 touchdowns, only 1 pick. The other 2 quarterbacks didn't do so hot. Tannehill had the best season for any Tennessee quarterback. 7 touchdowns, only 2 picks. Levis did okay. Willis slightly below average. And then in Minnesota, Cousins did not do the best. It actually went to Nick Mullins, who had twice as many touchdowns, more passing yards. Kind of disappointed in Kirk. Here's the NFL league leaders. You have Mahomes at the top, Stafford, Herbert, Brissett, and Burrow rounding out the top 5. Man, look at all these backups and third stringers in the top 10 to 20 in terms of yardage. As for touchdowns, Rodgers, the only one to throw for 20. Huntley, Mahomes, Thompson, Robinson, and Baker rounding out the top 5. Man, I cannot wait to look at the MVPs. Jacobs had the most rushing yards. Running backs stay consistent. Let me know if you guys want me to do this with running backs. See who has the deepest running back room. We get enough likes on the video, I'll make it happen, man. Go ahead and like the video right now. Pacheco had the most rushing touchdowns. Eckler, Pollard, Cook, and Saquon rounding out the top 5. And we could do it for receivers too, okay? Cooper Kupp will probably still be at the top in a few of these categories. But yeah, it would be cool to see if we had to rotate wide receivers and they had to go to their 4th and 5th string. I'm curious to see what the stats will look like. DeMario had the most tackles in the league. Most sacks goes to Vaughn, 24.5. He breaks the record again. Parsons, Lawrence, Jones, and Clowney in the top 5. That's a great addition for Baltimore. 9 INTs for Gilmore. Speaking of great additions, he killed it for the Cowboys. 8 picks for Patrick Peterson, ties with Levante, then a bunch of guys with 7. Dalvin Cook wins MVP. Eckler gets 2nd. 3rd goes to Vaughn. This is crazy. There is no top 10 quarterbacks at all. I've never seen this ever. That is a first on the channel. A defensive player almost won it, man. That's crazy. OPOY goes to Dalvin. DPOY goes to Vaughn in the AFC. Levante takes it home in the NFC. And Christian McCaffrey gets OPOY. Now we're not done yet. We have to continue rotating the quarterbacks as we begin the playoffs. The Ravens and the Cowboys will now rotate until the divisional round. So their roster is going to stay the same. Everyone else's depth chart is about to change. Let me go through them with you. So this is what it looked like in the last game of the season. Gabbert started in week 18. So they get Mahomes in the first game of the playoffs. The Bills had Matt Barkley in the last game. So they're going to start Josh Allen. And if they win, Kyle Allen will be starting the next game. Aaron Rodgers is going to be starting in this game for the Jets. The Dolphins are going to be starting Tua Tagovailoa. If they win, Mike White will start the next one. Sam Ellinger is going to start for the Colts. So they are going to be at a disadvantage. But if they somehow win, they'll get Richardson to start the next game. Unfortunately for Ellinger, he's going to have to go up against Joe Burrow. Meanwhile, on the NFC side, Desmond Ridder is going to be starting for the Falcons. The Buccaneers are going to get their starter, Baker Mayfield, back at QB1. Brock Purdy's going to be starting for the Niners. If they win, they'll have Darnold for the next game. Seahawks are going to have their starter too, Geno Smith, back at QB1. Meanwhile, the Lions get Jared Goff back, but that means so does Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts at QB1 51. Here we go, man. Advancing to the divisional round. Great time to subscribe if you have not already. And it's your first time on the channel. Let's see who ended up victorious. The Bills beat the Chiefs 38-10. The Jets move on. They beat the Dolphins. And the Bengals take care of business against Indianapolis. Falcons beat the Buccaneers. Niners take care of the Seahawks. And the Eagles lose a thriller to Detroit. In case you wanted some proof, man, I can't believe the Chiefs lost this bad. Mahomes had a horrible game. Meanwhile, Allen played damn near perfect. So we're down to our final 8 teams, going to go ahead and rotate the quarterbacks for every single one of them. Buffalo just got a nice W with Josh Allen, but now they have to rely on Kyle Allen to lead the way. Good news for them. If they win, Barkley will start in the conference championship. And if they win that one, Josh Allen will be in the Super Bowl. Meanwhile, the Jets just got a dub with Rodgers. Now they have to rely on Zach Wilson. Unfortunately for Cincinnati, Joe Burrow's back on the bench. Browning is the new starter. And he's going up against Lamar Jackson, who's taken over for the first time in the playoffs. As for the Falcons, they just got a big W with Ritter, but now Heineke is going to be starting. Meanwhile, Sam Darnold is going to be the starter in San Francisco. The Lions are going to be relying on Teddy Bridgewater to bring them the W. And Dallas is going to get their QB1, Dak Prescott, going to be starting this game, so they should be favorites. Cowboys end up mollywopping the Lions. Niners end up beating the Falcons. On the other side, Baltimore loses to Buffalo, even though they had Lamar starting, and the Bills had a 50-something overall. And Zach Wilson takes care of business against the Bengals. We have our final 4, and I'm gonna go rotate their quarterbacks once again. Buffalo, to get to the Super Bowl, is gonna have to rely on Matt Barkley at quarterback. He's going up against the guy known as Aaron Rodgers on the other side. Meanwhile, the Niners are gonna have Brandon Allen starting at quarterback 1, and he's going up against Cooper Rush, who will be starting for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the good news is for both of these teams, if they can somehow get to the Super Bowl, they will have their starting quarterback McQuinnan getting off to a nice start. First play of the game ends up as a sack. I expect a very low scoring game. I mean, these are two good defenses who do have good skill position players on offense, but I don't know if the quarterbacks will be able to stay composed long enough to get them the football. Barkley does get his first completion, 3rd and long. However, here comes the screen. Barkley barely gets rid of it. Great start by this Jets defense. My mistake. Did I say battle of the backups? I forgot Rodgers is starting in this one. He's the only starter at quarterback 1, and look at him go down at the 1-yard line. He's lucky that wasn't a safety. Only QB1 out of all 4 teams in the conference championship game. If the Jets somehow win, Zach Wilson will have to play for them in the Super Bowl. Both defenses get a 3-and-out to start. We will sim to the 4th quarter. If it's close, we hop back in. The Bills take the first lead, but the Jets are right there, okay? They're keeping themselves in the game. Second half starts with Buffalo up 3. Jets take the lead late in the 3rd quarter. Bills take it back. We're on a seesaw with the Jets on top. Look at this game. An absolute thriller, man. Credit to Matt Barkley for keeping not only his team in the game, but now they have a chance to take the lead. Harris up the gut for the first. And here's the game-winning kick. Tyler Bass with Allen holding. It's good. Buffalo's headed to the Super Bowl. Matt Barkley out-dueling Aaron Rodgers in the biggest game of his career, man. What a performance by him. Now they get their starting quarterback in the biggest game of the season. Now we're in the NFC Championship game, and remember, Dallas had the bye week, so they had to use Dak Prescott last week, and now it's Cooper Rush's turn. If he somehow wins, then Trey Lance will be starting for the Cowboys in the Super Bowl, but first they got to get past the Niners. San Fran did not have a bye week, so if they somehow win, then they'll get Brock Purdy back for the Super Bowl. Rush is starting off really hot. Already has his team across midfield. Pollard not getting the carry. Look at Rush on the read option, living up to his last name, rushing for a nice 4-yard gain. He looks in command of this offense early on. Here comes the blitz. Oh, he almost throws a pick. 3rd down and 6. Good protection. Rush over the middle. Warner gets the tackle. 4th and inches. And Dallas is gonna go for it. Big play early on in this one. Uh-oh. Zach Martin celebrating. He did the LeBron. But little did he know that it was his own teammate with the false start. It pushes them back in a 4th and 5, and the Cowboys are still going for it. Rush down the field. First down, CeeDee Lamb. Gonna be interesting to see if the Cowboys go for it on 4th down again if they can't convert on 3rd and 9. Rush in the pocket, throwing on laser, incomplete pass. And the Cowboys are going to end up with 3 points. Here comes the Niners with Brandon Allen leading the way. How's he going to do against Parsons and company? First play, complete to McCaffrey. 4-man rush for the Cowboys. Brandon going deep. Ayuk with the catch. They're across midfield. Now, if you ask me at the start, I would say the Niners have a good chance of winning because Shanahan has proven he can win with almost any quarterback, and the Cowboys have a really good roster too, so I'm not surprised to see both of these teams in the conference championship game. Only one of them can move on. 2nd down and goal. McCaffrey gives the Niners the lead. Phenomenal start to this game, and I just want a very, very good one. And right now, the Niners are starting to break away 24-6 at one point. Cowboys trying to keep it close, 1-possession game, and they take the lead. Cooper rushed to Gallup for a touchdown. 13 seconds left in this one. Coming down to the wire. Allen finding George Kittle. Can they spike the ball in time? No! Dallas is headed to the Super Bowl. Both backups played really well, man. Cannot say enough about them, but look at McCaffrey. 11 yards a carry, and his team ends up losing, man. You gotta feel bad for the guy. Final game of the season to see who gets the bragging rights and can say they have arguably the best quarterback depth in the NFL. The Cowboys versus the Bills. Dallas is gonna be led by Trey Lance. If he makes him dance, they hoist the Lombardi. But Buffalo gets a 99 overall Josh Allen in the final game of the season. Here we go, man. Start of the Super Bowl. Which one of these teams is going to be able to hoist the Lombardi? Bills, of course, have Josh Allen. But right now, both teams struggling. No points scored. Actually, the Bills get 3 right before halftime, but I expect a much higher scoring game than this. Buffalo ties it up in the 4th quarter. Dallas takes the lead. We're going to overtime. Oh my goodness. The Cowboys finally end up on top in this one. Trey Lance on his brand new team is able to hoist the Lombardi. And there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Taking a look at the final stat line. A lot of yards being thrown, not a lot of touchdowns, unfortunately. I had a ton of fun doing this video. One of my most fun so far in Madden 24. So thank you so much for watching to the end. Have a good rest of your day.